Now students, we will move on with the topic of handball, the remaining topic of from wrist pass. Now yes students, we will continue from the wrist pass. So before this, as we recapitulate that we understood how the bounce pass was done, and now we come to wrist pass. So while offending in the game to pass the ball quickly to the team player, this pass is used. So while offending means while attacking the opponent team, this pass is used. So in comparison to the other passes, the ball is released quickly in this pass by giving powerful push from the strong wrist. Wrist pass is done by moving 1-2 steps on the sides. The leg should be slightly apart. The strong hand is lightly brought inside with a jerk. The ball is passed above waist and parallel to chest height of the opponent with straight hands. While passing, the opponent is kept in sight. So this is the wrist pass, which the procedure also we discussed how the procedure is to do the wrist pass. Then comes the overhead pass. When the opponent is in between the passer and his teammates, chest pass or wrist pass cannot be performed, hence overhead pass is made. The legs are apart, so this is the procedure now again how to do the pass. The legs are apart and front, back, and the passing hand is stretched away from the shoulder and the ball is passed from over the head. Now any hindrance or an obstacle in between, so to pass this pass you need to pass it over the head, that's why it's known as overhead pass. Okay, so to overcome that particular obstacle of an opponent player. Then comes push pass. In this type of pass, the process is same as chest pass. The ball is holded halfway from backside with both the hands. Straightening the arms from elbows, the ball is thrown to other player with a push. So both the hands are holding the ball, and from the chest we just give a push to the ball. So it is called a push pass. Then comes catching or ball receiving. In handball game, catching is as important as passing. If the ball is not caught properly or if he fails to catch, he does not get good result. So while catching, the catcher's body should be under full control so that after catching also his body remains balanced to throw the ball. To catch the ball, the players has to emphasize on following points. So now again these points are given in brief so that you can understand how catching has to be done. One should presume from what distance and speed the ball is coming. So that is a very important point where you have to presume that from how much distance and what speed the ball is coming. Then instead of waiting for the ball to come, go forward and catch it. So if you wait for the ball, there can be a variation also. So it is better to go and catch the ball. To stretch both the hands, both the wrists should be near the fingers to be kept open, and the eyesight should be in front and towards opponent. As soon as the ball touches the hands, grip it tightly. Bend the hands from elbows and take them in direction of motion of the ball so that the reaction of the ball shall minimize and the ball does not bounce back. Now there is a little bit scientific principle over here where we need to understand that you need to cushion the ball, you need to absorb the force. Now children, if you bounce the ball on the ground, what happens? It doesn't stay on the ground, right? It bounces back, it comes up because of the force. And the same way, if you try to bounce the ball on the pillow, what happens? It doesn't come back, right? So in the same way, you need to cushion the ball. So while catching, that is also very important to do so. Then hold the ball from the height after jumping and landing on one leg or both legs on toes. Bend the knees to maintain the balance. So after catching the ball, what is the most important thing is balance. So how do you balance it? So you catch the ball while jumping, and while landing, see that you land on one leg or both the legs, okay, but on the toes so that you can balance better. And see, there also a little bit cushioning is left, little balance is the center of gravity lowers a little bit so that you can balance better. Then comes, after holding the ball, the next action should be done with without any delay. So after catching the ball, after holding the ball, the next action, maybe running, maybe dribbling, maybe passing, so the next action should be done without any delay. In handball game, the team getting more points in given time is declared winner. The points depend on the scored goals. The skill of throwing the ball in the goal post from the out of goal area is called shooting. The goal mainly depends on shooting. Thus, in handball game, each player has to master over the shooting skill, which shooting can be done by one or two hands. Mostly the player comes with dribbling for shooting. He takes 1, 2, 3 steps before the 9-meter line and then he shoots. During shooting, stronger leg should be forward and the ball should be in opposite direction. While taking last step, the player goes high in air with taking long jump. At the time the ball is taken back and then with full force it is brought forward, and before touching the leg down on the ground, the ball is shot. Shooting is done in various ways as follows. So you can see in the figure how the shooting is done. Now at the 9-meter mark, the player starts taking the 3 steps, and at the 3rd step he takes the jump, pulls the ball backwards and tries to shoot it in the net. So no player is allowed in the 6-meter zone. Long jump shoot. This is very important shooting skill because it can be done from all different angles and areas of ground. The body motion is used fully and the opponents can be dodged easily. So the chances of making goals are more. Now, when there is a space between the defenders, the offender in his last step, he takes 1, 2 or 3 strides with strong leg of in the air. The attacker jumps once, takes his body towards the goalpost, bending on strong hand side. The body is kept little forward, bend as shown in figure, and the hand with the ball is stretched at backside. At the maximum height, the hand is brought forward from the shoulder side and keeping the goalkeeper in mind, shoots the ball with full force. This whole action is to be done continuous in sequence with maximum speed. After the release of the ball, he shall land on the toe of strong leg, knees are slightly bent, maintains the balance by keeping both the hands forward. So after the shot is taken, there is also balance because you are jumping in the air to take a shot. Then comes high jump shot. When the defending techniques of defending team are strong and when long jump or any other shoot cannot be done, then high jump shoot is very effective. Tall players are master over this skill. High jump shoot is done from 9 meters line by taking high jump during the play. When the player is near the 9-meter line, he shoots the ball with his strong hand and towards the goalpost from his maximum height and lands on his toes. Knees bent a little and balance is maintained with both the hands kept forward. Then comes fall shoot. During play, when the attacking player is near the 6-meter line and alone, but there is no chance of shooting by taking steps, he shoots the goal through fall shoot. Mostly this skill is used by pivot players. When the defenders are near the 6 meters line, to protect the attacker and pivot player of his team is alone, and when suddenly he gets the ball through pass, he quickly makes a goal through fall shoot skill. While making a goal, he takes a high jump from ground, bends his body towards the goal post and shoots. Body weight will be on hands and the toes of the legs. So this is called a fall shoot. Then comes goalkeeping. A very important player in the team is the goalkeeper, who has to save the ball from going in the net. So goalkeeping, as you can see in the figure over here, what types of saves he is doing. As much as shooting skill is important in goal, so is the goalkeeping to prevent the goal. Goalkeeper must always be ready as sturdy wall in the goal post. Goalkeeper can stop ball with the leg in the goal area, but stopping the ball with hands is more beneficial. The eyes of goalkeeper should always be on the ball and shooter's hand. He should move his legs quickly towards the side the ball is coming. The goalkeeper has to keep in mind that he has to cover the goal. So the goalkeeper has to cover most part of the goal post and stop the ball with any part of his body part. The goalkeeper should throw the ball without delay and quickly to his team after stopping it. The action of hands and legs of goalkeeper are speedy and agile. So the reflexes over here are very important for the goalkeeper to stop the ball. Then comes defense and offense. So each team adopts different tactics, skills, strategies to have good command on the game and to bring win to their team. The tactics are defense and offense both. These tactics are simultaneously applied during the game. Here we will understand both the tactics one by one. Now A is defense. There are two ways of defense against the opponents: individual defense and team defense. So we will talk about individual defense first. Trying to stop the offender who is moving ahead with ball to make dribble or pass effective. To make the pass ineffective, to prevent the shoot or goal when defender tries to obstruct under the rules, it is called individual defense. Here each team player is defending against each offender of opponent side, so it is called man-to-man defense. As you can see in the figure, individual defense. See how the defender is defending from the opponent attacker. So in the individual defense, the player will follow his given opponent wherever he goes on the ground. An individual defender has to keep watch on the given opponent's place on ground. He is with or without ball. He has dribbled or not, his legs movement, eyes, shoulder sign, etc. He has to keep his legs apart, one hand up towards the head and other hand straight on side. Bring the upper hand down and lower hand up. Defender players moves one leg and other leg also in the direction as the offender moved by. Thus the defender has to move in the direction where the offender is moving by walking or dragging instead of jumping and changing his place. So he has to follow the attacker wherever he goes. Then comes team defense. In this defense, all the court players, defenders together defend against the offender's team. So it is called team defense or collective defense. In this, the defending team makes a zone by arranging all their players in a definite shape near the 9-meter line. Thus, this defense is also called a zone defense tactic. In the team defense, more concentration will be on the place of the ball. The defenders try to fail the attack by changing their position with less movement, maintaining, attacking and going towards the direction of the offender who is leading to shoot. Then comes offense, the second tactic. It is essential to win the handball game and to make more points than the opponents. The players of teams are so capable and efficient to use of various tactics according to the situation and need for attacking. Various methods of attacking are as follows. Now, the first skill is the fast break. During the play, when the opponent player comes near 9 meters line to shoot, and if the ball by tapping or hitting the goal post bounces back to the player, then he quickly, swiftly dribbles the ball and shoots it in the goal post. This fast break technique is more familiar. The ball is passed to the player who is near 9-meter line or dribbled and shoots it for the goal before the opponents come back to their court. So it is also called a counter attack. Then comes two-man pass and shoot. When the offensive team has shot the ball, but if it has been stopped by the goalkeeper or it has hit the goal post, the ball is passed to the player. Two players running parallel to the sideline on both sidelines They pass ball to each other and near the 9-meter line, whoever finds it convenient shoots the ball. Seeing the speed and movement of receiving player, the ball is passed in such a way that the player gets the ball ahead of him. Now students, we will learn the rules of handball. Each team has 12 players, 7 players are in play, while 5 players are substitutes who sit in the substitution area outside the ground. Now there is a difference, students, as we understood the basketball game. In basketball game, there are 5 players who are playing in the game, whereas here in handball, there are 7 players playing in the game. So that is the difference. From the 7 players, 6 will be as court players and 1 will be goalkeeper. So from the 7 players, 6 will be playing in the court and 1 will be the goalkeeper who will be guarding the goal. The dress or the kit of all the players is same, except while goalkeeper's kit is different. Second is, when starting, each team should have at least 5 players, in which one is the goalkeeper on the ground. During play, the number of players in one team should not exceed 12. The game starts with the toss. The toss winner chooses the ground or throw off. Throw off is taken to start the game. Then the time. For above 16 years, men and women, the play time is 30 minutes for each half and 10 minutes break. So if both teams agree and if referee permits, then the break period can be reduced also. The game starts with a throw off from middle line after the referee's whistle. At this time, all the players should be present on their half ground. The throw off players should be at least 3 meters away from their opponent. After break and before the start of second half, the ground is to be exchanged. The 7th point, at the end of the game time, the team having more goals will be declared the winner. If at the end of the game period both teams have the same goals, then to decide the winner, 2 halves of 5 minutes each will be given with a break of 1 minute between these 2 halves. After the half time, the ground will be exchanged. So the process remains the same, okay, and the time is reduced when the points or the goals are equal of both the teams. Also, for the tiebreaker, a coin is tossed before the first half and start is through throw-off. If after extra time also the points are same, then 2 more extra half times of 5 minutes each are played after a break of 5 minutes. So then there is a 5 minutes break and then after that 2 more extra halves are played. If the ball passes under the crossbar between the goal pole, then goal will be considered. In the goal area, only goalkeeper will be present. If the court player enters, then it can be considered as foul. The player can play ball in any direction through any body part, that is head, hand, thigh and knee. But if the ball touches any part lower than the knee, then it will be considered as foul. A player can hold the ball maximum for 3 seconds. A player can hold the ball maximum for 3 steps. Now he can hold the ball for 3 seconds and only 3 steps. Any court player can play as a goalkeeper and goalkeeper can play as a court player. But it has to be informed to the scorer, referee, and he has to change the kit or the dress. If the ball crosses the end line of the ground, opponents will be given throw-in. When the ball crosses the goal line and goes out of the ground, goal throw will be given. The goalkeeper cannot play the ball till any other player touches the ball after the goal throw. Penalty throw or 7 meters throw will be given in following situations. When the ball has been stopped by illegal way in any place of the ground in the process of goal, if the offender has a ball and the defender court player enters the goal area to get benefit. When the court player intentionally throws the ball to the goalkeeper in the goal area, penalty throw is taken within 3 seconds of the referee's signal. No player can play the ball till the ball touches goalpost or goalkeeper after penalty throw. At the time of penalty, all the players of defender should be at least 3 meters away from the penalty throw player. If the defender crosses the free throw line before the penalty throw is taken, it is considered as foul, and for that the following decisions will be taken. So that infringement is not allowed. Anybody just cannot cross the free throw line and get into the 6 meter line. So if the goal has gone into the goal post, it will be a goal, and if it does not make goal, then penalty throw will be given again, or the penalty throw will be taken again. If the goalkeeper crosses the 4 meter line before the release of the ball, then it is a foul. In this situation, if it is goal, then goal will be considered, but if goal is not made, then penalty throw will be given again. Now, if there is foul by both the teams at same time, then referee gives the referee throw. The court referee plays the ball from the corner where the foul was done by bouncing it on ground. No player can be stand within 3 meters near the referee. No player can play till the ball bounces the ground. If a player commits a foul, then the opponent gets free throw. Then the last thing is the handball games referee official. So we should also know that how many referees and officials are there to conduct the game of handball. So the referees of handballs are as follows. There are two main referees who are doing the officials in the game. One is the scorekeeper who notes down the scoring, and one is the timekeeper. So these if you count these 3 points, then there are two main referees, one scorer and one timekeeper. So there are 4 referees. So students, now we understood what is the game of handball, the skills, and in which way the game is played, and how many officials also are there. So I hope you have understood the topic, and we shall move ahead, and thank you.